Good evening. It's a pleasure to be asked to speak, and apologies I can't be with you in person. For those who don't know me, I'm Paul Sharratt. I work in Singapore at the Institute of Technology. I spent some time here in Singapore working with the National Research Agency, A*STAR. I've been lucky enough to be involved with the CMAC Future Manufacturing Research Hub Academic Advisory Board since its inception, and indeed before that over the previous round of EPSRC support under the IMRC scheme. I'd like to recognise the lengthy and sustained support that EPSRC has given to CMAC. That's been vital to the success through providing stability and a well-funded research core to the centre. That's been matched by the equally impressive commitment from the universities, the academics, the industry partners and others to what's become a very substantial endeavour. With both the critical mass and the longevity, CMAC has been able to become a focal point and leader in both the UK and internationally in its areas of research. It's managed not to fall into the trap that was much discussed when I worked into the UK, that this type of strategic research in support of the process industries had learned to fail cheaply but honourably. I think that's a quote from a former chairman of EPSRC. It's good that the model has moved on to support this sort of activity at a competitive level internationally. The large investment from both public and industry sources has paid off in creating a centre large enough to cope and to be stable despite some interesting times around us. The investment by Strathclyde is in the impressive TIC facility, has provided a very special functional space that makes a strong impression when you visit it and gives a strong personality, distinctive personality to the centre. Sad that we can't be there this year, but hopefully next year we'll be back. We're also seeing nucleation of another activity nearby, the MMIC, with its substantial synergies into higher TR work that will bring, looks to be a real opportunity for a large cluster of synergistic activities to grow, or perhaps I should say agglomerate, around Glasgow. It's been a lot of fun for me to see and be involved in the development of CMAC, not least from a scientific point of view. There have been some great pieces of science and technology and coverage that's both wide and deep. It's not my job to tell you about those, and it's much better to hear directly from the scientists themselves in the other presentations. But do have a good look and have a good look around at everything that's happening, because you'll find some ingenious engineering, some impressive and leading edge fundamental science, not only sitting alongside each other in the hub's activities, but also with some clarity as to how the linkages between them are important to the overall outcomes from the centre. Those scientific and technical successes have been demonstrated and are being transferred to industry, not only as insights and specific know-how, but also through people. One of the most notable features over the years of CMAC has been the exceptionally high proportion of CMAC researchers, and especially PhDs, who've joined industry to use the skills they picked up in the hub. However, beyond that, beyond the technology transfer, beyond the technical excellence, beyond the size, there's been another key to success, which has been around being able to maintain activity, maintain relevant activity in a complex and challenging moving environment. CMAC continues to deliver what industry says it needs for the future, but also to challenge and explore options that have significant risk and that maybe industry wouldn't be willing to take on themselves. That's no mean feat, working with industries that are complex, evolving, and very conscious of risk themselves. And we know that the last 10 years have been a period of very rapid change in the sectors served by CMAC. Take, for example, the pharmaceutical industry. The emergence and embedding of PAT, QBD, continuous manufacture, Industry 4.0, data science, company reorganisations, supply chain issues arising from both plagues and politics, it's not clear there's much of a difference between those two these days, have been very rapid in the last 10 years and more rapid than really ever before. For me, it's CMAC's ability to position and deliver against that moving target of industrial need and against that background of change in the economy and society to stay valuable and relevant that perhaps is the most impressive aspect. There's a difficult balancing act to perform, and CMAC has multiple ropes to balance on all at once. There's a need to be patient in research to see results, yet to be seen to and actually to be moving on quickly. There's a need to deliver value today in order to maintain commitment from the industry partners, and yet to push towards more challenging and very different longer-term futures, being very much the ambidextrous organisation. There's a need to leverage effectively on the opportunities for collaboration, while still growing and maintaining a unique and valued core. There's a need to balance the needs of individual contributors and their styles, yet to establish a strong and positive CMAC culture and identity. And also to serve the UK while working with what are primarily global businesses and a highly international research environment. There are also balances to deliver on the technical side. For example, bringing together high-end modelling and data-rich experimentation, where CMAC is making progress very seriously to show how this can be done, and there seem to be excellent prospects of delivering step change capability improvements in process development through that work. They're weaving together the different and potentially clashing academic skills of scientific insight, sort of brilliant new idea chemistry, and problem solving that perhaps belongs more with the engineers, being able to deal with those two clashing cultures and get them both to contribute effectively. And they're balancing the challenge to bridge across from science-driven process design towards business-facing complexities of the supply chain. And that work's starting to show great promise as well. For me, perhaps the most remarkable aspect of CMAC has been its ability to maintain simultaneously those balances and its stability against such a fast-moving and complex environment. I think behind that there's a source of powerful learning for applied research organisations in any area. The things that CMAC has done, if we can learn from them, would help many other complex research organisations to perform much better. CMAC's an excellent model for this type of activity, and I heartily congratulate the whole team on their continuing success, and particularly Alistair for maintaining his calm and good humour in leading it so effectively under even the most challenging circumstances. Lastly, I'd congratulate the industrial collaborators for their activity and positive engagement, and managing to maintain that through all of the turbulence of the activities over the years. I think they already know, but I'm going to tell you again, that the more you put into an activity, the more you get out. And perhaps indeed in these current difficult times of fast change and instability are potentially among the best times to consider what opportunities CMAC's technologies and capabilities can offer for the future. So that's all I have to say. Thanks very much for your attention and enjoy the rest of the conference.